Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Ghetto vlog. I am with Little Man. Hi. And we are at the Doncaster Toy Fair and I'm already a happy man. I could go home now. The very first store we looked at had some video games, rare bits I want with my collection, bits that I'll be able to take to CEX with me. We're gonna go there after, but unbelievable deals. So yeah, I've already got a huge smile on my face. It was genuinely the first store. As we walked in, the first store right there, video games under the table. This is why you travel, right? This is what it's all about. So yeah, I'm already a happy man. Let's see what else we can find. Hi guys, these are cool, look, Street Sharks. Before your time these are, mate. You don't know about these are for old men like me. Cocoa Pops, takes me back. What is that? That is so cool. Well, I've got to say, me and Little Man are both doing very well. He's got some really nice Lego minifigures, ain't you? Sniped me on one of them, I wanted that one. It's a minifigure I've never seen before that I was going to put in my army. Yeah, I was actually going to show you. Yeah, and he grabbed it first. Yeah. What a monster. Do you want to show him? Yeah. It's like a centaur, isn't it? It's really cool. So I might be on the hunt for them now, for adding to my army. I also found a Mega Drive game, nothing special, but a Mega Drive game I don't own. Yeah, there's quite a few games here. So yeah, I think we've done pretty well, to be honest. Well, I am glad I decided to do one more quick lap. We almost left because we've got some amazing stuff. We're both happy with what we've got. And I said, let's just do one more quick fly around. I'm so glad I did because I've probably got my find of the day. This has been, like, pound for pound, one of my best toy fairs I've been to. I've got some amazing video game stuff. Bags full. Right, we're gonna fly around, finish the fair off, and then we'll get back to the car and I'll show you some of the stuff that I bought. Well, that was a very successful toy fair, certainly on the video game front, which obviously is my motive. So I'm just going to quickly show you some of the games. Not the games I'm going to keep for my collection, of which there's quite a few, to be fair, nice bit of retro, but the few games that I grabbed that I'm just going to take to CEX, because we're heading to CEX now, so it makes sense for me to show them to you before we get there. So the first one is Red Dead Redemption 2. the classic. If you watch my favourite games of all time video, you will know that this was quite high on my list of favourite games ever made. That's got both discs in there. I should check the disc really. Resident Evil 2. Yep. And finally, Resident Evil 3. Oh, this has come with what looks like some nice stickers. I'll keep them, I'm not giving them to CX, we need them. So the total trading value for these is £24. Now I paid £20 for the whole lot from that first store that we got to, including some very nice bits that I'll show you for my own collection. So I'm £4 up in trade vouchers, and I've got some nice bits for the collection, plus all the other stuff that I bought, including some Nintendo cardboard. Makes that a very, very successful toy fair. Right, we're gonna fly now to, where do you wanna go?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Probably go to McDonald's, and then we're gonna go CX, get these traded in, see what we can find. Mate, thank you very much, appreciate it. All right, back in the chaos that is the current state of the 3.0. We're going to get to that very shortly. But I know what you're thinking. How can you go all the way to Doncaster and not check out Doorway to Dorkness? Well, I did. I did go there. Unfortunately, I was running out of battery on my camera. I ended up being out for a lot longer than I originally anticipated. So I only got a small bit of footage of Doorway to Dorkness. As you can see, they've got them fantastic life-size Tekken statues in. Yeah, I wasn't even tempted. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even entertain having the space for anything that big, as cool as they are. It's a real shame as well, because I bumped into the owner at the toy fair, and then we got chatting, and he gave RG Jr. a little gift, and then we went to the shop, and he challenged RG Jr. to do 20 press-ups. Now, I only just started training RG Jr. last summer, and he couldn't do one press-up like a few months ago, and he smashed out 20. I don't know if it was like the adrenaline of having people in the shop watching him. He did 20 solid press-ups. And the guy said to him, you can pick a Pokemon card, and he picked one. It was like a 40 quid Pokemon card, but true to his word, he let him have it. It was a great time. But like I say, I wish I managed to get some of it on film, but there you go. It was a good time nonetheless. And I did pick up one game whilst I was at Doorway to Dorkness. So I'll start with that. And that is on the GameCube, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. This one's a Ubisoft Montreal developed 2003 action-adventure game. It actually saw a PAL GameCube release a year later in 2004. And I think this was a reboot of the series. And it came out to receive quite widespread critical acclaim. I do hope to one day go into the earlier Prince of Persia games. I have the HD trilogy on the PlayStation 3, so that's probably the best way for me to experience some of those older games. But obviously you guys know why I've picked this one up. This is the player's choice version, now seemingly quite an uncommon, if not rare one, because myself and the owner were looking at this, because he was saying he put 20 quid on it, even though it's like, I don't know, £6-7 game generally, because he just said I can't find one online, and that is the case. I couldn't find one sold or for sale anywhere online. I'm gonna guess that this was like more of a French-German release. It does have English on the back, it's got multi-languages on it, it's got French written on the top. But I thought for 20 quid, you know what? I'm just going to grab it because this could be one of them games that I might struggle to find later down the line on my player's choice journey. There's none available online, so I thought, yeah, for 20 quid, I'm going to pick it up. So yeah, happy with that. And that's another player's choice ticked off the list. We're doing quite well. After grabbing this heavy hitter on last week's vlog, we're ticking them off, right? We're ticking them off slowly but surely. And I'm trying to get as many of them as I can in person so I can attach memories to the collection. And yeah, we're doing pretty good so far. Right, okay, and that takes me nicely to my CEX pickup. So, as you guys will have seen, I had those PlayStation 4 games that I found from a store, which we're going to discuss in a moment. It actually equated to £25 worth of voucher at CEX. And I saw this set on the shelf, another GameCube Player's Choice game. This one's Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. This fighter saw a European GameCube release in 2005. Very average review, sort of like 6s and 7s across the board. But it's one of the more expensive Player's Choice games left that I have a realistic chance of finding in a CEX store. I could say £30, so it's not necessarily a cheap one. Now, I remember seeing this before when I previously went to the Doncaster CEX, and I left it behind because no manual. However, because the voucher was so easily attained, right, the £25 came to me for pretty much nothing. I thought, for a fiver of my own money, I'm going to grab this one because I'm pretty confident I can find a manual. So all I've got to do is find a manual for it. And yeah, I thought, like I say, it was an easily attained voucher. I've got some spare silver cases for a couple of the cheaper Player's Choice games. So I switched that out. And yeah, that's Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. And in theory, another one of the heavier hitters ticked off the Player's Choice set. But away from Player's Choice, let's get to the Doncaster Toy Fair, which, like I say, I got a fantastic yield, right? Normally when I come back from a toy fair, I say to you guys, I'm going to start by showing the toys, the weird and the wonderful. I'm normally happy if I come away with a Lego minifigure or two that I need for my army. Not today. I bought nothing but video games, and I got so many great video game deals. And like I say, that started at the very first stall of the day. Now I want you to bear in mind, everything that I'm about to show you cost me £20 total, and I've already made £24 voucher, so I'm already up. Okay, so the first one is one that I think a couple of you guys have recommended to me in the comments section. When I saw it, it's not a particularly expensive game. I don't even think it's on the CX database. A lot of PlayStation 1 games aren't for some reason. It's like a £5, £6, £7 game, but I'm sure a few of you guys have told me about it, and I've never played the franchise. Anyway, that is Army Men Lock and Load. So this one's a 2001 3DO company developed third-person shooter, and like I say, a series I've never put any time into. I've never owned one, never played one. I think this is the third release on the PlayStation 1, and I was looking into it, there's like 6 of these on the PlayStation 2, so it's obviously must have sold well, must have been a beloved series for to be at least 9 of these games out there. But yeah, it's complete, it's decent. Let me know down below if you've played any of the Army Men games and if it's worth me putting some of my time into. And then the next one I picked up was a classic, really, and I love the sticker on the front. PlayStation 2, 9 out of 10. Look at that little alien sticker. I love things like that. Anyway, this was Destroy All Humans. So this 2005 action-adventure game is based in 1959, I think in the south of America. And I'm not sure if I've already got this one. I can't quite get to my PS2 collection right now. but it cost me next to nothing. If I do already have it, I'll pass it on. I think there's actually a second game on the PlayStation 2, which I definitely don't own, so that's one that I'll keep an eye out for. But yeah, fun game, this one. And now, with those two kind of more fillerish titles out of the way, we're going to get some games that I've been actively wanting to find and put into my collection. This first one is, I think, I wouldn't say it's uncommon or anything, but it's like £12 at CX. It's not a particularly cheap game. I've just never picked it up, although I've always been intrigued by it. And that was Mark Echo's Getting Up. So although the title sounds like a Viagra advert, it's actually a 2006 action-adventure beat-em-up. You play as an amateur graffiti artist, but it's the music that's always intrigued me. Being a big hip-hop head, I've always wanted to check this one out. I know that there's a lot of hip-hop music in this. I think it's got quite like a decent soundtrack to it. And like I say, these games all cost me pretty much nothing. So this was the perfect time. I'm glad I waited. And they're all in really nice condition as well. A lady that was selling and her son, and when I say son, the guy was older than me, right? Just to get put into perspective. It was his games, he was getting rid of them, and they were just wanting to clear them, right? This is what you sometimes get at toy fairs, certainly more so than game fairs. People that just want to get rid of stuff. They're not trying to make every pound out of it that they can. He was selling quite a bit of Lego, so RG Jr. bought like a big spaceship thing from him. But yeah, just getting rid. So when I bundled a load together, she said 20 quid. I was more than happy with that. So yeah, that was one of them. And then this next one is one, like I say, another one that I've been wanting for the collection. And that is Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. This is basically the expanded version of the game. There's quite a few quality of life improvements throughout, but I think the big thing here, the big pull, is that there's actually 350 VR missions added. And again, this isn't a cheap one. This is like £18 at CX. It's one of them weird ones. I don't quite like what CX have done. I do get why they've done it, but especially on PlayStation 2 and a couple of other consoles, they charge relatively high prices, but give like nothing for trading. So this is like an £18 game, but you get next to nothing to trade it in. But like I say, it's one I want for my collection anyway. And this next one, I don't know, I've got a couple more bargains, but this is arguably bargain of the day. In fact, it is bargain of the day because when I was first piecing this bundle together that ultimately cost £20, the first couple of games I grabbed, she was like, oh yeah, £2 and £1. And I'm sure this was £1. So to find this for £1, bargains don't get much better than this. And that is, again on the PlayStation 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater with the exclusive HMV sleeve. Now, I actually already own this sleeve. I paid up for it at a game fair. I got it for a decent price. It was like 25, 30 quid from memory. Now, if you take to eBay, there's one listed for £65. Sold are around about £45. Now, based on that being the price, about £45, the total value of everything that I bought for £20 at that stall is £127. Now, I calculated that using CX prices where possible. So yeah, £127. So to be, in effect, over £100 in profit, even though most of it's going into my collection, yeah, I mean, what a great way to start an event, right? Literally the first store, as soon as I walked in, I knew it was going to be a good day, and it quickly became apparent that it was worth the 5:45 a.m. alarm that went off for me to get there for early bird entry. And this is why we do it. This is why you get up in the morning, because you just never know what you're going to find. I've been all the way to Doncaster before and found next to nothing, but on this day, we found a lot of something. Speaking of which, the next one was £5. Not the best game in the world, but one I needed. And if I see a Mega Drive game that I need for £5, I'm picking it up. And that is NHL 97. I've spoke many times on the channel, whenever I pick up these NHL games, me and my brother had one, if not two NHL games. I can't remember if it was Super Nintendo or Mega Drive, but I do remember loving it. We used to just try and get into fights. We just just do whatever, bash all the buttons until we could sort of like square off and then just start fighting each other. We absolutely adored it. These games are so much fun as well. They've held up really well. I tried one out not long ago. This is one of the more uncommon ones. 97 obviously is later in the Mega Drive life cycle. I think this is like a £15, £20 game. So again, for £5, not bad at all. And then we get on to, I don't want to say bargain of the day, because I mean, that was £1. So it's going to be difficult to beat that. But I got an amazing, amazing find. And this all came from Adam. So massive shout out to Adam. He originally shouted me because he had these for me. He said, I was hoping to see you here, mate. And he passed me this big Audi bag full of box protectors. He said he's changed his way he displays his collection. And there's various different things in here. A lot of them, he said, are for steel books. There's also some stuff that's like for bigger stuff, collector's editions. There's all kinds of shapes and sizes in here. So I think some of this stuff is going to be invaluable. So what I'm going to do is, once the room's sorted out, I'm going to go through all of this, see which things I can put into these box protectors, and then anything I've got left, I'll just sort of give it away, pass the kindness on to somebody else. But yeah, I was very much appreciated. But from there, he had a few games on his store, and yeah, I got amazing deals on these. Right, so we'll do it in kind of reverse order. So the first one that I picked up, again, for £5, was Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is a very cheap game these days anyway. It's like £4 at CEX. But the reason that I paid £5 for it, and I was happy to do so, it's sealed. Look at that. It's got the Nintendo seal on it. And this is a good game to have sealed. So I'll switch out my Mario Kart 8 from a full Wii U set because, let's be honest, everyone plays it on the Switch. I'm never going to want to play Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. I've got it on the Switch. So yeah, this is a nice one to have sealed. And yeah, I think for a £5, you can't go too far wrong. I'll pass that on to somebody, my non-sealed version. And then we get to, like I say, I can't call it bargain of the day, but let's call it a bargain that is my favourite addition to my collection of the day. He gave me this for just £20, which is a fantastic price. Fantastic price, mate. Much appreciated, Adam. That's probably slightly less than half what this game would be selling for. And that is the classic, literally, on the Game Boy, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. Now, first things first, this game haunts me. I played through it, I think, last year. I got to the final level, and I went there with like 90 lives, and I lost nearly all of them. My save state currently on that game is like me on the final level with like 2 lives left. And I'm kind of in this horrible, like, do I go back through the game and start again and accrue a load of lives and then try and do the end boss? The problem is with the final level, it's like a gauntlet. There's no like checkpoints, and it's a long level and it's quite difficult. So I really need to get back into it. I really need to get going, sort of like remove this from my mental backlog, because to get so close and not finish the game is crazy. But anyway, you guys will know why I picked this one up. If you watched my Wednesday video with Kev, I hope you enjoyed that video, by the way. This is a good time to give him a massive shout out to Kev. What a great sport. We had such a good day. There's like 3 minutes of outtakes at the end of that video. There could have been half an hour of outtakes, honestly. Amazing day. Hope you guys enjoyed it anywhere near as much as I enjoyed filming it. It's always a pleasure to go and see Kev. But I did say on that video that I have started collecting the Nintendo classics. I'm firmly blaming Nicky on the Ghetto Gang Discord for that, because he's going great guns with his collection at the moment. So I've now got 2. I've got RC Pro-Am and I've got this one. And I mentioned there that I'm going to be switching out the Game Boy games where they currently are and extending the red wall further by collecting the red Nintendo Classics Game Boy games, of which can go alongside the red Super Nintendo Classics games. I love red, I love subsets. It was always going to happen, right? And what it does mean is that we can then put the full Game Boy collection together on this wall. I can't wait to get the full Game Boy collection together. But yeah, a fantastic day, amazing event. Always great spending the day with RG Jr. He had a fantastic day as well, and that's what it's all about, right? But now we've been out, now we've done the hunting, now we've bought more stuff we've got no room for. It's time to lock in, right? It's been too long, and it's not just a case for me of getting the stuff on the shelf sorted out. I've got to get this room sorted out, guys. Like, I can't live in here. Every time I go to the gym, I'm like moving past stuff, knocking stuff over. It's just ridiculous. So that's it now. I'm not going out for the rest of this vlog. We're locking in. We're going to get somewhere with this games room and try and make it less of a mess. So I have made a few tweaks off camera. I've put a lot of the stuff away that I've picked up over the last couple of vlogs. So a lot of the blue spines have gone in there. That Sonic that I showed on the pickups video with Kev has just separated the EA spines and the blue spines nicely. What else have I been doing? I have put in the additional GameCube Player's Choice games over there, all except for Budokai 2, because I can't find my spare Player's Choice cases. They're somewhere in the madness of this room, so we'll add that sooner rather than later. There's a lot to say about this corner. You guys know how proud I was and how much I loved this corner and how I thought this was all locked in. That's a whole other drama. I'm going to get to that shortly, but before that, I want to just refine a little bit more what we've already done, so we can then start adding more to the shelves. Now, I'm not going to get into the real nitty-gritty of alphabetizing games or anything like that just yet, because it's not locked in by any means. It's way too early to start doing that. I've not even got trunking hack on all of these shelves yet. But what I do want to do and lock in, because I'm pretty sure it's going to remain where it is the Lego minifigures. Now, the issue I've had is I can't use this shelf because I don't have this Lego tape to stand them on until now. This is one of the few parcels that I need to open. We'll get to the rest of them later on in the vlog, but this should be... Yes, yes, yes! The same Lego tape. Now, some of you will remember on a previous vlog, I found this in a toy shop for, what was it, like 50p or £1 on a discounted thing, and I bought the last 3 or 4. I gave them to RG Jr. because I thought I'd used all that I needed, and he messed around with them and does whatever 7-year-olds do with them. And then when I needed more, his had all gone, and this ended up costing me about £8-9. So yeah, there's a lesson there for everybody. Stash cheap things away, right? Because you never know. But first things first, I'm going to get this shelf taped up, and then I'm going to rework the entire Lego minifigure army. What I think I'm going to do is, with the good guys, the Romans, I'm going to start in the middle here and work outwards. So we're going to have the Emperor there, and then we're going to try and mirror image to the left and to the right. And then this section here, these 2 shelves, I'm hoping I can fit all the bad guys on. So these guys, effectively, right? I think that should be enough space to be able to break it down that way. Good guys, bad guys, let's do it. Right, so that's most of the minifigures put into piles, ready to be sorted out. I say most. I'm confident there's another pile of these somewhere in the room. We're going to find them as I tidy up. The reason I say that is I've just found a load of Mega Drive games. Just 5 Mega Drive games sat down there on a shelf out of the way. So they obviously need to be implemented. I'll tell you what, we'll just shove them on the shelf down here now whilst we can. There we go, that will do for now. Right, back to the Lego minifigures. So yes, like I say, I've found another one on the floor as we speak. So now I'm going to start the process of putting them in and working out from the middle. Yeah, it's going to take a long time, but it's something I enjoy doing actually. Right, that is the good guys all put on to the shelves. I think they look really good. So now I'm just going to get the bad guys put in as well. And with the bad guys done, which I've got to say I'm very happy with, I think they look great. That is the Lego done for now. Obviously over time it'll be tweaked, and as we add new figures we'll rearrange. But yeah, really happy with that. So now moving down a shelf, this is the 360 area. Now the reason being is, anyone that's got Billies and Williams will know these are like the structural middle shelves. Now you can't move these, right? So as a result, these fit DVDs perfectly, the way I've done the shelves. So it makes sense to have this as Xbox 360. Now the reason I'm not going to Xbox 360 today is something I touched upon previously. There's a hell of a lot of 360 in my collection, and I am going to thin it out. I'm going to keep rare, expensive stuff and stuff that I enjoy and want to play. There's also loads of steelbooks, sleeve covers, a lot of stuff. I'm hoping to maybe fit it across one row. We'll see, we'll figure that out. But it's going to take a lot of time to go through it all and make some sort of tough decisions about which of the collection I want to keep. So I think for now we're going to skip Xbox 360, drop it down the shelf, and finally get into something I've been looking forward to doing. Let's do Game Boy. So I've been pretty busy since I last checked in. I've been cleaning a lot of the newer stuff. This is all stuff that wasn't previously on that Game Boy shelf, putting box protectors on where possible, These 3 need box protectors, so I'm going to have to order some more. But for the most part, we're cleaned, we're protected. And I've also put the shelves across. So all the way across now, I've got the perfect height of Game Boy shelf. Now, a bit of a hack that I showed you guys previously. I haven't been putting the sort of shelf, what would you call them? Whatever they are. They're not sitting as they should, right? When they sit as they should, like that, they sit perfectly in the hole. But I've been doing them more like that. So I've been putting those bits on their sides just to create a few more millimeters. So in the case of the minifigures, it just meant some of the taller ones had a bit more room. And in this case, because it's the underside, it's pushed the shelf slightly up, which has reduced the gap for Game Boy games. So it's pretty much perfect. I can easily pick them up. But yeah, I like the less gaps as possible, and it of course saves me more space on the shelves. So that is pretty much the next task, right? Get all of the Game Boy games on. I've been looking forward to doing this. But before that, I did promise you guys I was going to address the elephant in the room, which is this corner and the CRT situation. So after what was for you guys a couple of weeks ago when I first put this situation together, I had a few people in the comments, and thanks a lot for messaging me and making me aware, just saying, look, be careful, because apparently there's like strong magnets in speakers and they can affect CRT TVs. They can damage them, they can break them, etc, etc. Which obviously I thought, whoa, okay, let me look into this. First thing I did was go online, go to Google, find out what exactly these speakers were. So I got the exact make, reference number, model number, etc. Googled it, and it all checked out. It basically said these, with the help of AI, these speakers have, I can't remember what the exact terminology is now, but basically a barrier for the magnet, like a protector for the magnetic forces. So I was like, cool, I've double checked it. I appreciate everyone reaching out, but I'm all good. So probably a week later, maybe less than a week later, I put the CRT on. I think I was capturing some footage or just playing some games for the top 20 video games of all time video that I made. And I noticed something a little bit odd with the picture. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it's been caused by the speakers being close to it, or if it's just something which just happens with old TVs, or something that I could sort out if I delve deep enough into the picture settings and stuff. I've not really had time. I just got a bit paranoid, so in a haste I just quickly separated the speakers from the TV as far as I could, and I haven't really had a chance to look into it until now. So I'm going to show you guys what's happening with the TV, and I'd appreciate obviously you letting me know in the comment section what you sort of think of what's happening. Right, okay, so I've just popped in Darius Twin, and I don't know how much you're going to be able to see it through the camera, because the flickering of a CRT is obviously very difficult to film. But to be honest, that music, even more so on this TV for some reason than the bigger one we had in here previously. It's the flickering. But anyway, that's not what we're here for, right? I'll pause it so you can see. I don't know if I'm being paranoid, but can you see this black line here? Can you see how it's slightly curved? So if you look down here, now I just want the experts out there to let me know. Is this just something which I can fix in the settings? Or is that a pretty common reaction to these magnets? Now, if it's damage from the magnet, it's not great. But to be honest, I can live with this. This is such a rare, hard to get hold of, expensive TV that few mil there, I can live with it. It's not the end of the world, but I obviously don't want to make it any worse. The reason why I don't just say, I can check myself and have a look if it's the settings, is because I don't think this is the correct remote for this TV. And James, who I gave the bigger one to, he's ordered one of these for his TV, and he's going to give me back the other one, if that makes sense. Anyway, once I've got the other remote back, I think I'll be able to delve into the settings a bit easier and see if I can maybe change the screen. But again, I think it's probably pretty obvious. I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to these things. I know there's a lot more technically minded people out there. So please, if you know, let me know down below if either A, this is damage from the speakers, or B, this is not the sort of damage you get from the speakers. It's completely unrelated. This is just something you need to fix in the settings. Let me know down below. I was about to say back to the Game Boy. Back to Game Boy for you guys, but I'm going to play a bit of Darius, because yeah, now I've got it on. I feel like I need to play it. Right, well, I've got to say, even though I'm not very good at it, I thoroughly enjoyed playing Darius Twin. But I have done a bit of Game Boy work, as you can see, finally. So I've calculated that I've got 37 standard issue Game Boy games that are going to go across what is effectively 4 shelves, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3 full Williams shelves, a half shelf, and slightly over a half shelf there. So the big ones, really, it's about 9.2 games a shelf. So I'm just going to work on 9 games a shelf for now. And this is how those 9 games space out. I think it's nice. I think it's sort of like on the limit. You wouldn't want to show any less artwork than this. But it looks good. We'll worry about tomorrow another day, because I do actually have deals in line for a lot more Game Boy games. But there's no reason why we can't have another row of Game Boy games, which we'll see how that maps out once we fill this up. But yeah, let's just concentrate on the here and now. I think it looks good. So it's a case of just me pottering around, rewatching the In-Betweeners for the 15th time, and just seeing what works, seeing what kind of games I want where, putting the odd little toy in. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on, enjoy my evening, drink some tea, watch the In-Betweeners, do what I enjoy doing, playing my video game shows, and yeah, I'll check back with you guys when I've got something worth showing you. So that is Game Boy done, and I've got to say, it's worth the wait. I've been talking about getting Game Boy on these shelves for weeks, if not months. A lot of these games have been sort of sat in the purgatory shelf, waiting for their chance to go on a proper William, and here we are. But there is one thing which is kind of irking me about the Game Boy display. So I think this looks fantastic. I tried a lot of different methods of games and which order to put them in. And if you stand here, brilliant, right? Look at this. This full... this is what I love about Game Boy games. I love the side art of the game. Well, not the side art, but the Game Boy written on the side. I just think it looks so good. And it's really bringing this all together now. I'm really starting to get an image of how this whole thing's going to look. But the thing which is annoying me is this section here. So that looks great. Happy with it. Some really nice titles. The problem is... once you go back over here, which is where I predominantly spend my time, right? It just looks off because of the angle. So everywhere else, you get a nice picture of the Game Boy. But this shelf here, you just see those odd-looking spines. And it's just throwing me out. Now, if I flip them round, it still wouldn't work because you wouldn't have the Game Boy writing on display. And it would look odd from the other angle, the one shelf being different. So I think what I'm going to do, in a strange way, is actually future-proof myself. So leave this as it is. So we've got 9, 4, 9, and 5. So they will always be my best Game Boy games, right? These 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, they're kind of going to be the forward-facing ones. What I'm going to do with this awkward shelf here is just completely flip them around and have them spine only. Now that's going to lock me in. That's going to future-proof me for quite a bit longer. Because like I say, I've got a pre-arranged deal coming up for some fantastic Game Boy titles. So I'm already out of space if I was to do it like this anyway. But theoretically, obviously this is just very rough. If we have them like this, look how many more I can fit in. And it will look all right. Once they're all done properly and they're all the right way around and you can read all the spines, I don't think it's going to look too odd at all. I think it's actually going to probably look better comparatively to what it was before with the back end of the... well, you saw it before. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I've inadvertently got the Game Boy row looking great, but also quite massively future-proof myself for my Game Boy collecting as well. So I'm really happy with that. It's been a long time coming, and it's been a long day. I'm going to see you all in the morning, and hopefully we'll get some more done. Good morning! So today I'm hoping to crack on with more changes here in the 3.0. I've got a very busy day, but there is a little something I've thought about doing to these shelves, which I'm very excited about. But before that, postman's bin, let's take a look. Right, let's get into it then, shall we? Okay, so yeah, I know what this is, but there is a note, so let's take a quick look at the note. To Callum, hope you're happy with the bits to complete your addition. Also, the Lego is for Ghetto Junior. Keep up the amazing work, Matt and Gemma, Insidious and Gemma D on the Discord. A great couple, real like collecting couple goals, right? I've got on the Discord and they both go out hunting together. It's lovely to see. But yeah, they found this whilst they're out game hunting and it was really cheap. I said, yeah, pick that up for me, sent the money across. And they sent it over, but it looks like they've sent a couple of extras as well, a couple of gifts. So we've got the Need for Speed Steelbook. It's a really nice Steelbook, actually. I love the pinks and purples on this. I do need the game. I'm guessing that's come down in price quite significantly. I actually tried to play this once upon a time. I downloaded it from the PlayStation Store when it was on sale. And I just couldn't quite get to grips with it, but I didn't put enough time into it, and it was coming off the back of playing Ridge Racer 6, so it was like a real juxtaposition as to how the game controls, but it's one that I might revisit. But yeah, lovely steelbook that. This is obviously the Lego for RG Junior. He'll be well happy with that. Right, okay, so this is the main event. This is what they picked up for me. So this is in mint condition. I don't like using the M word, but mint. The Last of Us, the Joel edition. No, so if you watched my video where I went to Scotland, Forgotten Worlds, you'll know that I picked up this, also in pretty bad condition, not quite this bad, but it didn't have any of the insides, it had none of the stuff inside it. So for £15, this is everything that I need to complete my version. So I don't have any of this stuff. I don't have the box that it comes with for the game, the art book, anything like that. I mean, I paid £10 for my version. It does need a little bit of work. I do need to do a slight repair job on it. But I've now got a complete copy of the Joel edition of The Last of Us for, what, £25? And it sells for like, what, 80 quid? So yeah, massive shout out to you guys again. Thanks a lot for sending that to me. It's much appreciated. Hopefully on next week's vlog, I'll get time to actually dig both components out, piece it all together, and yeah, try and make the best of putting the two damaged versions together. But for 25 quid, yeah, fantastic deal. Right, let's get back to the game shelves. Right, so the plan for today is to implement one more shelf, which is looking great. I say one more shelf, I'm actually going to have to probably implement 10 more shelves, but one more row. So before I get into the mini shelf that I'm going to create and fill, I think we're going to leave another gap. So I want to create a shelf which is a similar size to this Lego one, but I think doing it directly under Game Boy will be a mistake because that's already a smaller shelf, and I think we're better off spacing our standard size DVD style shelves. So I've already said this is going to be Xbox 360, and what I think I'm going to do is create another space in here for probably slightly smaller, maybe PlayStation 4, because I'm thinking only on PlayStation sleeves, potentially Lego sleeves, but definitely ENIAC sleeves. I want a lot of that stuff forward facing and on display. I don't know if that's the best way to go because obviously these are forward facing. Might be better to break it up. But either way, I think if we leave the right size gap for PlayStation, basically a Blu-ray size shelf, that should be perfect for whatever I choose to do with it. And then underneath that, I'm going to then create the mini shelf. So I'm just going to crack on and I'll catch back up with you guys once all of the shelves are in place. Forget everything I just said, because the unspeakable's happened. I've ran out of shelves. I can't believe it. I had so many of these shelves stacked up. I mean, the more I think about it, there's like over 30 in this area alone. And the last thing I want to start doing is pulling shelves from other areas. I don't want the growth of this to be at the detriment of other places. But I have been able to make a few changes to show you guys what the overall vision is going to be here in the room as we progress. So down here, look, you can see I've started to implement another red shelf. Over time, this shelf will be fully Game Boy Classics. A lot of the Game Boy Classics are attainable. I expect that collection to grow relatively quickly. As for the Super Nintendo Classics, that's a completely different story. I'm struggling to find any of these that are less than £200. And whilst I'm still in the midst of going for the full Super Nintendo set, I don't want to be spending that kind of money on duplicates or a subset. So that might be something we'll focus more upon once I complete the PAL Super Nintendo set. But obviously, I've always got my eyes open. If I come across any more bargains, I'll be adding them. But yeah, I think it gives a nice reflection of what this is going to look like once we fill this whole row with one variation or another of Nintendo Classics. And taking it back to the shelves we've been working on, I've also, with the limited shelves I had, been able to make some changes down here. So again, using the hack of not quite putting these in properly, we've got the perfect size for Blu-ray, absolutely perfect, look at that. Now that's going to really help us out when it comes to things like ENIAC sleeves, because it's going to be a lot easier to display them forward facing if it's like tight, not to the point where it's going to damage them, but you know, you're tight enough to keep them in place. And then, look at that, look how good that looks. And again, using the same hack, I've created the perfect sizing shelf for my Kid Robot minifigures. Now, once I've got Xbox 360, some sort of variation of PlayStation 4, and then a full run of Kid Robot minifigures, probably going into the Pulp Fiction minifigures that I've got that are the same size, wrapping around here. It's going to look so good. We've just been halted by my lack of shelves. As a result, I think that's a good place to call it for this week's Ghetto vlog. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one as much as I have, because this has been a week which is everything I enjoy, right? Going out with my boy, finding some absolute bargains, and then what it's all about, right? Cracking on with the 3.0. And I think we really have made a real dent in getting the game room completed. Really, really happy with how it's going. You can't rush these kinds of things, but it's nice to be getting somewhere. And I think it's pretty much given at this point, we're going to kick off next week's vlog with an IKEA breakfast, right? So make sure you keep it locked to the channel if you're not already, don't miss that. But in all seriousness, I've got to get cracking on, because I keep alluding to this huge once in a lifetime trip I've got coming up. And you know what it's like, guys? It's a mental thing. You want your house, your home, your rooms, for me, the collection room, to be perfect when you go away. I don't know, when you got a big project or you have a big trip, you kind of want your foundation to be as solid as it can be. It's like when you go on holiday, you want to come back to a clean, tidy house, right? And that's what it's kind of like for me. I want to get as far into this room as I can before I have to go away, because, yeah, I don't want to come back to the mess that it's currently in. I want us to be as close to the finish line as possible. It's unrealistic to probably think I'm going to get it finished, because there's still so much to do in here. Not only have we got the Williams to finish, this corner here is still in question. I'm debating whether to just get rid of that entire CD player system, that whole corner, potentially extend the Williams out even further to the wall. I could potentially put Kratos wall mounted in the corner. I don't mind him being on the sofa, but he might look better on that wall. And even once all that's done, sometimes I forget myself, there's a William and a Billy on that side of the room behind the Astro City, which is currently a complete mess. All that needs sorting out. So whilst I'm delighted with what's happening and the vision's really taking shape now, there's still a hell of a lot of work to do. So yeah, it's sort of all hands on deck and we're getting on it. But the other thing is, even prior to this big trip I've got coming up, I've got another international game hunt coming up, which is for me this weekend. So yeah, loads of fantastic content coming to the channel, but yeah, busy. So it's just a case of finding the time to get in here and keep, you know, ultimately what I do all this stuff for is to get it back in this room and display the wares as I want them to be, but it's just finding the time to get in here and get it done. But yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Stay tuned, of course, for post-credit gameplay. As I say, if you are new here or you've enjoyed the content and you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. And if you want to support myself further and get involved with a fantastic community over on the Ghetto Gang Discord, there will be a link to join the gang below. But as always, guys, thank you very much for taking the time to watch. It's always much appreciated. Play your games. Keep it retro. I'll see you next week. Take care. Good morning. So today I am hoping, with the box. Good morning! Okay, we're back at it, and of course, post-credit gameplay is God of War 3, and we are almost at the platinum. So as you can see, since I last checked in, I've unlocked 2 more trophies. I've actually gone back through my save files just to clean up a bit and get the ones that I should have already had. So I did the 1000 hit combo, and I missed a collectible right at the very start of the game where you kill Gaia. So that's both of them done, and that now leaves me with just 2 to go. So we've got beat Titan mode, so basically finish the game. All I've pretty much got to do is run through the final little section and beat Zeus, who apparently, by all accounts, is very difficult on Titan mode, so I shall get that done over the next week. And the challenges, so still got some of these challenges of Olympus to do. And that's where we're going to get into this week's post-credit gameplay. We're going to do some of the challenges. I think it was Get Stoned that I was struggling with. That's definitely a sentence I've never uttered before. I was struggling to get that one done last week. But I want to try this one. This one sounds easy. Don't get gored by the Minotaurs, i.e. stabbed by their horns. Don't get piled on by the enemies. The lesser enemies, if they sort of like gang around you, they can sort of like all jump on top of you. So yeah, I'm sure it's probably not as straightforward as it sounds, but let's find out. So you basically got to stay away from him. Right on cue. Yeah. Let's just chalk that one down as being a bit rusty, right? Just making sure it works. So it's very much like Spanish bullfighting, right? We've really got to stay out of the way of this angry bull. I think the best thing to do is just keep our distance as much as possible and use the bow and arrow. Don't get too greedy. The challenge is going to be how many enemies there are, how big the waves get. Oh, that's him down. Right, so these are the smaller enemies that can like overcome you if you let them. Oh, you're... Again, I just wanted to give you an example. Right, now we've seen a clear example as to what both deaths look like that you're not supposed to get. Let's get the challenge done, shall we? Oh, that... I can get close to you. Oh, not... Oh, that's so stupid. No. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, no. Ah! Yeah, this is nowhere near as easy as I thought it was going to be. Oh, that's how you do it. That is skills. I almost died, but it was still skills. Just jumped over his head. That was quality. That was quality. I'm having that. Let's see if I can do it again. Come on then. Who wants some? You want some, do you? Yes! We found a hack. Come on then. Killing it. Don't let him jump on you. Don't let any of them jump on you. Come on, keep killing them. Yes! We are absolutely smashing it. Now's where it's going to get tricky though. Right, come on, jump, jump. Who's gone? Oh, they've gotten wise to it. They're getting wise to it. Oh my god. Oh no! Oh, I was doing so well that time. Not even looking, lads. Not even bothered. Yes, look at that. They've both gone. This is so good. Right, let's take all of these out. Yes, yes, yes. This is going very well. Who's next? I think we've got to take these guys out early, innit? And then... Oh no, he just caught me! Right, stay here and kill as many of these as you can before they start coming at you. That's it. Oh, no, you can't change. Ah! Oh my god, I think I died. I've just committed suicide. Right, sip of Yorkshire. Yorkshire's going to do it for me. Come on, this time. Come on then. Oh. No wonder I can't get a Yorkshire sponsorship. Alright, go on. How on earth are you supposed to even get close to navigating that? It's like it's impossible. Ah. Yes, 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 that's all the Minotaurs gone. Right, okay. Keep your cool. Keep your cool. Keep your cool. I would love it if this is the final wave. I would love it. Yes! Get in there! Needed that. That took way more goes than I thought it would. Woo! Oh, yes. We'll have that. And I think we're going to leave it there. So I've only got, what, 1, 2, 3 more challenges to do. Finish the game, beat Zeus, and that's it. Platinum trophy. And as much as I want that platinum, and I've worked hard for it, I've also downloaded, I know it's a dirty word, I've downloaded a game that I really want to play. I've been wanting for ages ever since it got released. There is no physical in my defence. So as soon as I play through this, I want to jump into that, and that will probably form a bit of post-credit gameplay, because that's something that I'm very eager to try and share with you guys, because it's currently on sale, very cheap as well. So yeah, we'll get into that, hopefully, fingers crossed, on next week's vlog. But as always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch. If you've watched until this point in the video, Ghetto, ole. Ghetto, ole. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.